Manchester United is interested in Javi Simmons again. Meanwhile, good news, ladies and gentlemen. Aiden Heaven has been seen at Carrington, but that's not the news. The news is without a subscribe, like, and share as I give it to you. My name is Webb. Let's get into it. So, listen, where should I start? The good news or the great news? I'll start with the great news. Aiden Heaven has been seen at Carrington today without the protective boot that he had as he was leaving the King Power Stadium when Man United beat Leicester City in that game where he was stretchered off the field. Guys, for me, that's good enough to know that he's not so badly off. The protective boot is off already, meaning it was perhaps precautionary. It was not that bad. So certainly it means, like he posted on his Instagram, his recovery is moving on so fast. Probably what guided or informed that post was the fact that the protective boot was put off early by the doctors. So Heaven is not so badly off. I feel for me that's something we've got to applaud because listen, this boy was picking his flow. He was getting in the rhythm, getting in the mood. You don't want him out for so long. It slows him down. And good enough, he's not going to miss any games really because of the international break. My assumption is he could be back in about perhaps 2 weeks, the same period that the international break will be going on. I'm hoping that's the case. Even if he doesn't return fully fit to start games, just being there and training with the team for me is what I want to see. This boy is the future. I'll tell you, Lisandro Martinez should be wary of him because Martinez returns in Jan 2026 most likely or late December. Listen, if this boy is fit and balling, Ruben Amorim won't go back into Martinez because of the height. This boy has got that advantage. He has got the height, the boldness, the confidence, and he's young. Youth is what Amorim is here for. So for me, it's a big, big, big one. And this boy, for me, is the future of that position. He has shown that. He has proved it just early into his career. I hope he can keep his head down and keep growing and improving and getting better because the talent is there to work with. Lots of it, lots of it. Beautiful stuff there for Aiden Heaven. Now, Javi Simmons back in talks. Man United seem to be still stuck on the initial plan they had in terms of transfers. I don't know whether this was crafted by or orchestrated by Fletcher, Darren Fletcher, because he's still there as one of the technical guys on the club. Because why are they still sticking to some of these players they were linked with when Eric Ten Hag was still there? Because Javi Simmons is a player Man United was linked with for a long time under Eric Ten Hag. He's a winger, but even when he was still attached to PSG, because he was a PSG player, loaned to RB Leipzig, and then later this year in January they signed him on a permanent. He has played 7 games since he became a permanent player for RB Leipzig, scored 3 goals. Now he's only 21, beautiful age, Dutch international. He plays as a winger mostly. He's a winger, but yes, whereas Man United could use a winger probably if Amorim, feels so. I don't see where exactly he fits. First of all, he's right-footed. Amorim loves them wingers left-footed. If his setup at Sporting CP is anything to go by, both wingers should be left-footed. And that in itself means he cannot be the option or the backup option now that we did not get Giovanni Quenda. So for me, that's why I say, where is he going to play unless he's going to mold him into an inside forward or into an inside attack as a 10, as one of the 2 number 10s. But already you have Garnacho, who for me is not so much different from Javi Simmons. So where then would he fit? But also to even make it worse, this guy could be priced at about 80 million. Remember I told you RB Leipzig just got him on a permanent this year in Jan. If you're going to buy him in the summer, RB Leipzig, with the way they just don't want to release their players, how they failed Arsenal in terms of letting go of Benjamin Sesko, who is also linked with Man United. I don't see Man United spending 80 million euros on Javi Simmons. So where is he fitting? So for me, it doesn't excite me. I've seen this guy, and it's coming from a credible source in Florian Plattenberg or the Plettigol, who is a credible source, like I told you, when it comes to players in Germany, transfer moves from Germany. He's quite credible, but for me, Well, again, just because he's 21 and Amorim is the kind of manager who can transform a player, I just still don't feel he's really the guy, especially because of the fee that is attached to him. That RB Leipzig could attach to him. But also, it's not easy to deal with RB Leipzig to sign a player from them. I think for me, it's one of those difficult deals that I feel United doesn't want to get into now. That's my honest view. So, but that's what has come in. That Simmons is still a player of interest to Manchester United. You can let me know what you think in the comment section and tell me if you feel he's a player that United would use. But for me, listen, I'm not so moved by that. But that's the transfer talk for you. That said, you look at United now, and it seems clear that even if it comes to players they would want to sign in the summer, the plan seems to be to keep it young players. And for me, again, this is a change. Gone are the days when United used to be linked with old players, older 30-year-olds, 35, name them. But also, United is no longer perhaps planning a lot to bring in players on loan. If you realize, imagine in this January, with all the issues we had trying to survive relegation, United still did not get a player on loan. So it shows you they are cleaning things, they're improving things. If you keep, as a big club, keep getting players on loan, like it was under Eric Ten Hag, if you remember, uh, I think it shows that you first of all have no long-term plan. That's one, a clear long-term plan, because loans are usually stopgap measures, like short-term measures. But also, it shows a lack of financial plan, for the team, because a loan is you're always going to end up paying for these players, yet they're never going to stay with you permanently. And then it means you're going to have to spend again on permanent signings. And you're thinking, why then would you spend money like that? So I feel, for me, again, these are the little improvements we are seeing with Man United that Ineos are putting in place. Omar Berada, and perhaps he cannot get any credit now because United is yet to win any major thing. But it's early days, really. But you can see slowly how these guys are trying to improve things and how they are being done. But also Christopher Vivo, who is now the director of guy in charge of the transfers, I think is beginning to perhaps try and do things right. And the fact that this is a Chelsea guy, I'll tell you, if you ask me, if there is one club that just gets their business right when it comes to transfers, it's Chelsea. They are the model club lately, probably, when it comes to transfer business, because of how they keep signing young players. They can sign so many of them, but then the next window they're selling so many of them and still making lots of money for themselves. For me, I think they are proper the model club. They are the model club when it comes to. So if Christopher Vivo was there for some time and is now at Man United, my feeling is that he can perhaps give us a few good lessons for us to be doing business the right way. At least get something right when it comes to transfers. Because listen, haven't we been so awful at it? We've been so terrible at it. We've been garbage at it, for lack of a better word. So I feel, for me, there are improvements. As we head into the summer, I'm a little more calm and more confident in whatever business could be done by the team, because I feel like we have a competent team just because by the little things I've seen being done. But again, like we keep saying, I always want to leave this as a disclaimer. The end always justifies the means when it comes to football or anything in life, probably. That we might say all these good things about Ineos and see all the changes and improvements they're trying to make. But if at the end we don't see a clear, significant improvement in Man United, it will all count for nothing. So my hope is that everything they do will take us forward. So that's where we are as Manchester United. Drop your comment and let me know whether you're excited by Javi Simmons. I'm not quite excited personally, honestly. Of course, Aiden Heaven returning, not in a protective boot. Certainly for me, that's music to my ears. It's what I love to hear. It's a good thing. It's amazing, because this boy certainly is probably going to be the future of that left back position as we do get on with this transition under Ruben Amorim. That's a quick update for you concerning our beautiful club, Manchester United. A decision made already on the not returning of Jadon Sancho. So that's done. Probably Chelsea might want to force us to take some cash, whereas we are desperate. I don't think we'll take it, because it's even more expensive paying his wages than having him there. But also the cost of having Sancho around the team is too bad. I said it before. Bringing back Sancho, for me, is worse than whatever could have happened if we brought back Mason Greenwood before we sold him to Lille, to Marseille, to Olympic Marseille. That's my honest opinion. So Sancho back at United for me is a no go. So again, I will not go back into that conversation. And I love that many United supporters are beginning to look forward and focus on the new players that we could bring in, but also on what Amorim is planning for the future. My name is Webb. This is the United Sport. Like, share, and subscribe. Let me catch you later, fam. 80 million euros for Javi Simmons? Mm-mm.